The elevator doors closed, and I realized three things simultaneously. 1. I couldn't breathe. 2. The most dangerous man in New York City had me pinned against cold metal, his forearm braced above my head like a cage I didn't want to escape. 3. I was completely, devastatingly screwed. "What's your name?" Liam Sterling's voice was gravel and whiskey, the kind of sound that made your spine straighten and your knees forget how to lock. His eyes, gray like a storm I was about to get caught in, tracked across my face like he was memorizing evidence at a crime scene. "Ethan?" I stammered and hated myself for it. "Ethan Miller. I work in—" "I don't care where you work." His thumb traced my jawline, a touch so light it felt like a threat. "I care that you're the first person in 10 years who doesn't smell like lies and expensive perfume." The elevator jerked. His weight shifted closer. I could feel the heat radiating off his body, could smell cedar and something darker, desperation maybe, or hunger. "Mr. Sterling, you don't seem—" "I'm drugged," he said flatly, but his eyes were laser-focused. Some socialite bitch thought roofies would get me to the altar. She was wrong. His fingers slid into my hair, gripping just hard enough to make my breath hitch. "But you are going to help me forget this entire nightmare of a night." I should have pushed him away, should have reminded him I was nobody, just a kid from the Bronx who got lucky with a file clerk position. Should have done anything except what I actually did. I leaned into his touch like a man finding water in a desert. "Tell me to stop," he whispered, his lips an inch from mine, "and I will." I didn't tell him to stop. That was the moment Liam Sterling decided he'd rather burn his empire to the ground than let me go. That was the moment I became his addiction. And honestly, I didn't stand a chance. Chapter 1. Let me back up and explain how I ended up pressed against an elevator wall by a billionaire CEO who looked at me like I was oxygen and he'd been drowning. It started with the worst Saturday night shift of my life. I'd been working at Sterling Corp for exactly 3 weeks, 21 days of keeping my head down, doing my job, and trying not to think about how one mistake could send me back to the Bronx with nothing to show for the 2 years I'd spent clawing my way through community college. My supervisor, Mr. Chen, caught me at 10:45 p.m. as I was heading out. "Miller, need you to run these acquisition files up to the executive suite. They need signatures by Monday morning." I looked at the stack of folders he was shoving into my arms. "The executive suite? On the 47th floor?" "Yes, is that a problem?" "No, sir. I'll take care of it." What I didn't know, what nobody bothered to tell me, was that there was a massive charity gala happening that night. The Sterling Foundation annual whatever the hell rich people do event. The kind where champagne cost more than my monthly rent, and everyone wore clothes I couldn't afford to look at. I made it through the lobby in my thrifted suit, slightly too big in the shoulders, but it was the only one I owned that didn't have visible wear, keeping my eyes down, trying to be invisible. The private elevator bank was thankfully empty. I hit the call button, balanced the files in one arm, and tried to remember if I'd eaten dinner. Probably not. Cup noodles didn't count. The elevator dinged. Doors opened. I stepped inside, and a man stumbled in after me. Tall, broad-shouldered, wearing a tuxedo that probably cost more than my car. Actually, more than any car I'd ever been in. His dark hair was disheveled, his tie loosened, and when he looked up at me, his eyes were the color of storm clouds right before lightning strikes. Oh no, I knew that face. Everyone in the building knew that face. Liam Sterling, CEO. Billionaire, the man who'd built Sterling Corp from a failing tech startup into a Fortune 500 company before he turned 30. The man who could fire me with a blink. "Sorry, Mr. Sterling, I didn't mean to—" I started backing toward the corner, trying to make myself invisible, which was impossible in a space roughly the size of a closet. He grabbed my wrist. The files scattered across the elevator floor like a paper explosion. The doors closed behind him with a soft whoosh. and suddenly I was pressed against the wall with Forbes magazine's most eligible bachelor staring at me like I was the answer to a question I didn't know he was asking. "What's your name?" His voice was rougher than I expected, deeper, vibrating through my chest like a bass note that I felt in my bones. Ethan Miller, sir. I work in acquisitions. I'm just delivering—" "Ethan," he said it slowly, like he was tasting it. His free hand came up to brace against the wall beside my head, caging me in. "You smell like coffee and cheap soap." My brain short-circuited. I'm sorry?" "Don't be." He leaned closer, and I could smell expensive cologne mixed with something sharper. Alcohol, maybe? No, something chemical. Wrong. It's the first honest thing I've smelled all night. His pupils were dilated. His breathing was uneven. Something was very wrong. "Mr. Sterling, are you okay? Do you need me to call someone?" "I need—" He stopped, his jaw clenching like he was fighting for control. "I need to not go back out there. I need to not marry Chloe Westbrook. I need—" His eyes focused on me with sudden, terrifying intensity. "I need you to stay right here." "Sir, I think you might be—" "Drugged, yes." He said it matter-of-factly, but his hand trembled slightly against the wall. Chloe spiked my drink, probably thought she'd drag me to a hotel room, get some compromising photos, force the wedding. My heart hammered against my ribs. This was insane. This was the CEO of the company confessing to being drugged while pinning me against an elevator wall. This was— Why are you telling me this? His thumb brushed across my cheekbone, and I forgot how to breathe. "Because you're the only thing in this building that feels real right now," he said quietly, "and I'm about to do something incredibly stupid." "What?" He kissed me. Not gently, not tentatively. He kissed me like I was oxygen and he'd been drowning, his hand sliding into my hair, his body pressing mine against the elevator wall. It was heat and desperation and something that tasted like thunder. I should have pushed him away, should have reminded him he was drugged, that I was nobody, that this was insane. Instead, I kissed him back. My hands found his chest, solid muscle under expensive fabric, and I could feel his heart racing as fast as mine. The elevator hummed around us, suspended between floors, suspended in a moment that was going to ruin my entire life. When he finally pulled back, his forehead pressed against mine, his breathing ragged. "You're shaking," he observed. "You're a billionaire who just kissed me in an elevator. I'm allowed to shake." That almost smile returned. "Fair point." His thumb traced the shell of my ear, and I felt it everywhere. My spine, my chest, the back of my knees. "Are you scared of me, Ethan?" I should have lied. Should have said yes. Should have given myself an exit strategy. "No," I admitted. "I'm scared of how much I'm not scared of you." Something flickered in those storm-gray eyes, surprise maybe, or recognition, like he'd found something he'd been looking for without knowing he was searching. "Good," he murmured, "because I'm about to be very selfish with you." The elevator opened directly into a penthouse that looked like it belonged in an architecture magazine. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Manhattan, furniture that probably cost more than my parents' house, art on the walls that I vaguely recognized from my one elective art history class. I barely processed any of it because Liam pulled me inside, the doors closing behind us with a soft whoosh. And for a moment, we just stood there in his foyer with the city glittering behind him like a crown he didn't need. "Last chance," he said, and I could hear the drug affecting him now, his words slightly slower, his breathing heavier. "You can leave. I'll have my driver take you home. You'll come to work Monday, and we'll pretend this never happened." "And if I stay?" His jaw tightened. "If you stay, I'm going to touch you until I forget her name, until I forget every expectation my grandfather ever had, until the only thing that exists is you and me and this—" He stepped closer, his hand cupping my face. "This thing I can't explain, but also can't let go of." My brain was screaming logistics. He's your boss. He's drugged. This is a disaster waiting to happen. But my body was already making decisions. I leaned into his palm, felt his sharp intake of breath. "I'm staying," I said. The last thread of his control snapped. He walked me backward through the penthouse, past the living room, past the kitchen where he'd probably never cooked a meal in his life, his hands fisted in my shirt, holding on like I was the only solid thing in his world. Maybe I was. "Where are we going?" I gasped between kisses. "Guest room." His voice came out rougher than before. "I'm not taking you to my bed while this shit is in my system. When I have you properly, I want to remember every second." "When? Not if." "When?" I repeated. "Not if?" He pushed open a door with his shoulder, guided me inside. "Did you think this was a one-time thing, Ethan? That I'd let you walk out of here and disappear into the filing department?" I didn't know. I didn't think." "Then let me make it clear." He backed me against the wall, not the bed, not yet, and caged me in with his arms. "After tonight, you're mine. I don't care about logistics. I don't care about appropriate workplace relationships. I don't care about anything except making sure you understand that I'm keeping you." His breath came in short bursts. "You can't just... People don't work like that. You can't just decide." "Watch me." He traced my bottom lip with his thumb, and I trembled. "I've spent 32 years being told who to marry, how to run my company, what version of Liam Sterling the world needs, and in one elevator ride, I made you realize I don't give a damn about any of it. The drug is talking. The drug is lowering my inhibitions. It's not creating feelings that weren't already there." He leaned close enough that his lips brushed my ear. "I felt it the second I touched you. This gravity, like you were the center and everything else was just debris." "That's insane," I whispered, but my hands were gripping his shoulders like I was drowning. "Probably." He pulled back to look at me, really look. "But I'm a man who turned a failing tech startup into a Fortune 500 company before I was 30. I trust my instincts, and every instinct I have is screaming that you're mine." "I don't even know you." "You will." He kissed the corner of my mouth, and I shivered. "You're going to know everything, every scar, every secret, every reason I wake up at 3 a.m. and work until dawn. But right now, tonight, I just need you to help me forget." I slid my hands up to his face, trembling. "Forget what?" "Forget that I was supposed to marry someone I'd rather burn, that my grandfather thinks I'm a chess piece, that there's a woman downstairs who tried to drug me into submission." His voice dropped to barely a whisper. "Make me forget everything except your name, Ethan." I kissed him then, initiated it myself, standing on my toes to reach him, and something in his expression cracked open, raw, vulnerable, real. This wasn't the drug. This wasn't desperation or rebellion. This was inevitable. I'd never been brave, not really. I'd survived a childhood where dinner sometimes meant corner store ramen, where college was a pipe dream until I worked 3 jobs to make it happen. But survival wasn't the same as courage. Kissing Liam Sterling felt like courage. He picked me up like I weighed nothing, carried me to the bed, and set me down almost reverently, which should have been ridiculous from a man who looked like he could tear apart boardrooms with his bare hands. "Tell me what you want," he said, kneeling on the bed beside me, his hands framing my face. "Tell me your limits." I never, I have, but not like... Understanding flickered across his face. "You've never been with a man?" "I've never been with anyone who looked at me like you're looking at me right now, like I'm something worth keeping." His expression softened, and for a second I saw past the CEO, past the billionaire, past the man who probably had lawyers on speed dial. I saw someone lonely. "Ethan," he said my name like a prayer. "You have no idea how much trouble you're in. Show me." The thing about Liam Sterling was that he didn't do anything halfway. When he touched me, it was with complete focus, like I was a problem he was solving, a deal he was closing, a challenge he was conquering. His hands mapped every inch of skin, memorizing responses, cataloging what made me gasp, what made me arch into his touch. "You're thinking too much," he murmured against my collarbone, his breath hot against my skin. "I can't help it. This is insane. Tomorrow, you're going to wake up and realize..."
He bit down gently where my neck met my shoulder, not hard enough to hurt, just enough to make every nerve ending light up. "Tomorrow," he said, his voice dark honey and gravel, "I'm going to wake up and confirm what I already know, that you're mine, that I'm keeping you, that anyone who tries to take you away from me is going to learn exactly how ruthless I can be." His possessiveness should have scared me. Instead, it felt like safety. "I'm not a possession." "No." He lifted his head, his eyes boring into me. "You're an addiction, and I've never been good at moderation." The rest of the night blurred into heat and whispered words and the feeling of being completely, utterly consumed. He kissed me like he was trying to memorize my taste, touched me like I was something precious and breakable, but also like he couldn't quite control himself. Every nerve ending was on fire. His touch was a brand. He devoured my resolve with every kiss, every whispered promise against my skin. And when we finally collapsed together, the city lights painting patterns across the ceiling, his arm locked around me, like even in sleep he was afraid I'd disappear. That's when I realized I was in love with him, completely, devastatingly, stupidly in love with a man I'd known for 3 hours. God help me. Chapter 2. I woke up to sunlight streaming through floor-to-ceiling windows and the terrifying realization that I was wearing Liam's undershirt. My clothes, my thrifted suit, my cheap dress shirt were scattered across the guest room floor like evidence at a crime scene, which honestly wasn't far from the truth. Oh God, oh my God, what did I do? The shower cut off, my heart rate spiked. I sat up, my head spinning, not from alcohol, I hadn't had any, just from the sheer insanity of the past 12 hours. I'd slept with my boss. Well, not my direct boss, but the CEO of the entire company, the man who could fire me with a word, the man whose face was on the cover of Forbes magazine in the lobby, the man who kissed me like he was the answer to every question he had ever had. What happens now? The shower cut off, my heart rate spiked.
A minute later, Liam walked out of the bathroom wearing nothing but a towel slung low on his hips, his dark hair damp, water still clinging to his chest and shoulders. He looked like he should be in a cologne ad, not standing in front of a terrified file clerk from the Bronx. His eyes found mine immediately. "You're awake?" Yes, I should probably... I started to get up, looking for my clothes. "Stay." It wasn't a request. I froze halfway off the bed, my heart hammering. "Mr. Sterling." "Liam." He crossed to the bed, sat down beside me. "After last night, I think we can drop the formalities." "Liam," I tried again. "Last night was... you were drugged and I shouldn't have..." He kissed me. Slow, deliberate, no desperation this time, just certainty. When he pulled back, I was dizzy. "The drug wore off at 3 a.m., he said quietly. Everything that happened after that was completely clear-headed, and I meant every word I said last night. I stared at him. You remember?" "Every second." His hand came up to cup my face, his thumb brushing my cheekbone. "You pressed against the elevator wall. The way you kissed me back like you were drowning. The sound you made when I..." He stopped, his eyes darkening. "Yes, Ethan, I remember all of it." My face went hot. "Then you know this was a mistake. I'm nobody. I'm a file clerk who got lucky with a job in acquisitions. You're you. This doesn't make sense." "I'm canceling the engagement." The world stopped. "What?" He picked up his phone from the nightstand, showed me a text conversation with someone named Marcus. The most recent message, sent at 6:47 a.m., read, "Cancel the engagement. Issue a statement. I don't care what grandfather says. It's over. L." I couldn't breathe. Liam, you can't cancel a family engagement because of one night. That's insane. Your family will... "I've spent my entire life building an empire my grandfather tried to take credit for." His voice was calm, certain. "I think I've earned the right to make one selfish decision." "I'm not a decision. I'm a person who's about to ruin your entire life." "You're mine," he said it firmly, letting me hear the finality. "And on Monday, when you come to work, you're not going back to acquisitions." My stomach dropped. "You're firing me." "No. His lips curved into an almost smile. "I'm moving you to my office. You'll work directly with me." People will talk. They'll think I slept my way into... They'll think exactly what's true, that I want you close, that I'm keeping you. He leaned in, his lips brushing my ear, that I'm completely, obsessively addicted to you. I shuddered. This is moving too fast. Good. I don't do slow, and I sure as hell don't do halfway. He pulled back to look at me, his gray eyes intense. You're in this now, Ethan. The only question is whether you're brave enough to stay. I should have said no, should have grabbed my clothes and ran back to the Bronx and pretended this never happened. Instead, I thought about how he looked at me, like I mattered, like I was worth burning down an empire for. Yes, I whispered. God help me, yes. His smile was devastating. Good boy.
He made me breakfast, actually cooked. Eggs, toast, coffee that didn't come from a gas station. We sat at his kitchen island that probably cost more than my car, and he asked me questions like he actually cared about the answers. Where I grew up, the Bronx, in a building where the heat only worked half the time. What I studied, business administration at community college, paid for by working night shifts at a warehouse. Why Sterling Corp? Because it was the only place that called me back, and I needed the money for my mom's medical bills. He listened to all of it, his eyes never leaving my face, like he was memorizing me. Your mom, he said finally. What's wrong? Diabetes. She needs medication, regular doctor visits. My dad's back is shot from 30 years of construction work, so he can't work anymore. I stared into my coffee. That's why I can't mess this up. This job, it's everything. Then it's a good thing you're not messing it up. He reached across the counter, took my hand. You're moving up, not out. Liam, people are going to think... I don't care what people think. His grip tightened. I care that you're safe, that you're taken care of, that no one, not Chloe, not my grandfather, not anyone, can touch you. Why? The word burst out of me. Why me? You could have anyone, literally anyone. He was quiet for a moment, his thumb tracing circles on the back of my hand. Because everyone else wants something from me, he said finally. Money, status, connection. You kissed me back in that elevator and didn't ask for a single thing. I didn't know what to ask for. Exactly, he smiled, soft and real. You just wanted me, not the CEO, not the billionaire, just me. My chest ached. You're going to regret this. Never. He stood, pulled me up with him. Now, go shower, we're going shopping. Shopping? You need new clothes if you're going to be working on the executive floor. He kissed my forehead. Consider it a signing bonus. I can't let you buy me... Ethan. He tilted my chin up, made me meet his eyes. You're mine now. That means I take care of you. Get used to it. And because I was apparently incapable of saying no to this man, I nodded. That's how I ended up spending Saturday afternoon in boutiques where the salespeople looked at me like I'd wandered in from a homeless shelter, while Liam Sterling casually dropped thousands of dollars on suits and shoes and shirts that actually fit. This is too much, I whispered, as he added a fourth suit to the pile. This is the minimum. He held up a tie, silk, deep blue. This matches your eyes. My eyes are hazel. They have blue in them when you're nervous. He draped the tie around my neck, used it to pull me closer. That's adorable, by the way. The sales associate pretended not to stare. By the time we left, I had enough clothes to last a month, shoes that didn't have holes in the soles, and a watch that probably cost more than my first car. I can't accept all this, I said, as his driver loaded bags into the town car. Too late, it's already bought. He slid into the back seat, pulled me in after him. Besides, I have plans for you in those suits. Plans? His hand landed on my thigh, possessive and warm. Monday morning, I'm going to introduce you to the company, make it very clear that you belong to me, and then, his lips brushed my ear, I'm going to take you into my office, lock the door, and continue what we started last night. Heat flooded through me. That's not professional. I'm the CEO. I define professional. He bit down gently on my earlobe. And right now, professional means making sure everyone knows you belong to me. Liam, say it. His hand tightened on my thigh. Say you're mine. I should have protested, should have reminded him about power dynamics and workplace ethics. Instead, I turned my head, met his storm gray eyes, and whispered, I'm yours. His kiss tasted like victory. Chapter 3. Sunday passed in a blur of phone calls, Liam's, not mine, terse conversations with someone named Marcus, and the slowly dawning realization that Liam Sterling wasn't joking about any of this. He really was canceling his engagement. For me. I sat on his couch, leather, probably Italian, definitely expensive, while he paced by the windows, his phone pressed to his ear. I don't care what grandfather says, Marcus. The statement goes out at noon. No, I won't be explaining myself to the board, because it's none of their goddamn business. Yes, I'm sure. He glanced at me and his expression softened. More sure than I've ever been about anything. Send it. He hung up and crossed to where I sat, sinking down beside me. It's done, he said quietly. Your family is going to hate me.
My family is going to have to deal with it. He pulled me against his side, his arm around my shoulders. I spent 32 years living by their rules, building their empire, being their perfect heir. I'm done. Because of one night with me? Because of you, yes. He kissed the top of my head. You made me remember what it feels like to want something for myself, not for the company, not for the family legacy, just for me. My phone buzzed, a text from my roommate Josh. Dude, did you see the news? Sterling Corp CEO canceled his engagement. It's everywhere. Another text, this time with a link to a news article. Sterling heir ends engagement to Westbrook daughter. Family sources say split was unexpected and unilateral. Oh my God, I whispered. Liam glanced at my phone. Let me guess, it's trending. You ended a multi-generational family alliance on a Sunday via press release. I ended a trap. His voice went hard. Chloe's family is bankrupt, Ethan. I had forensic accountants look into their finances months ago. They're drowning in debt. She wasn't trying to marry me for love or family alliance. She was trying to marry me to save her family from ruin. I stared at him. You knew? I suspected. The drug-in confirmed it. He took my phone, set it face down on the coffee table. So no, I don't feel guilty. I feel relieved. What about Chloe? What's she going to do? His expression went cold. That's not my problem. Except it was about to become our problem. Because Chloe Westbrook wasn't the type to go down quietly, and I was about to learn exactly how dangerous a desperate socialite could be. Chapter 4. I barely slept Sunday night. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw headlines, Sterling CEO and scandal, nobody from the Bronx ruins billionaire's life, file clerk destroys family alliance. By the time my alarm went off at 6 a.m., I'd already been awake for 2 hours, staring at the ceiling of Liam's guest room, where he'd insisted I stay, despite my protests, trying to figure out how to survive Monday morning. My phone buzzed, a text from Liam. Wear the navy suit, the one with the slim fit. And Ethan, breathe. I've got you. L. How did he know I was panicking? Another text. Because I can hear you pacing from my bedroom. Come here. Oh God, the walls weren't as thick as I thought. I padded down the hallway in the t-shirt and boxers he'd lent me. His, which meant they were too big and smelled of cedar and something uniquely him. His bedroom door was open. Liam sat on the edge of his bed, already dressed in a charcoal suit that probably cost more than my entire new wardrobe. His hair was still damp from the shower, and he looked unfairly perfect for 6 a.m. Come here, he said softly. I crossed to him, and he pulled me between his knees, his hands settling on my hips. You're spiraling, he observed. I'm about to walk into that building with everyone knowing I slept with you, that you canceled your engagement because of me, that I'm mine. He cut me off. You're mine, Ethan. That's what they'll know. And if anyone has a problem with it, they can take it up with me. Easy for you to say. You're the CEO. You're not just anything. His grip tightened. You're the man I chose, the man I want, the man I'm keeping. He pulled me closer, his forehead resting against my stomach. "What are you planning?" He looked up, and his smile was dangerous. "You'll see. Now go get dressed. We're leaving in 30 minutes." The ride to Sterling Corp felt like heading to my execution. Liam sat beside me in the back of the town car, his hand on my thigh, his thumb tracing circles that were probably meant to be comforting, but just made me more aware of every nerve ending in my body. "What if people think I'm a gold digger?" I blurted out. "Then they're idiots. What if they think I seduced you to get ahead?" "Let them think it." He glanced at me. "I know the truth. You know the truth. That's all that matters. Your grandfather can choke on his disappointment." His voice went hard. "I love him, but he doesn't get a vote in my personal life. Not anymore." The car pulled up to Sterling Corp's main entrance. Through the tinted windows, I could see employees streaming in for the Monday morning rush. Regular people with regular jobs who were about to witness the CEO walk in with his, what, boyfriend? Boy toy? Latest mistake? "Ethan." Liam's hand cupped my face, forcing me to look at him. "I need you to trust me. Can you do that?" I thought about the past 48 hours, the elevator, the penthouse, the way he looked at me like I was precious. "Yes," I whispered. "Good." Kissed me, quick, possessive, branding. "Now let's go." His driver opened the door. Liam stepped out first, then extended his hand to me. In full view of everyone. I took it. The whispers started immediately. We walked through the lobby hand in hand, Sterling, CEO and billionaire, in his perfect charcoal suit, and me, Ethan Miller from the Bronx, wearing a Navy suit he'd bought me, trying not to trip over my own feet.
People stared. Of course they stared. Sarah from Acquisitions stood frozen by the security desk, her mouth literally hanging open. I saw Marcus, Liam's assistant, who I recognized from company emails, near the elevators, looking stressed but unsurprised. And there, by the coffee kiosk, was Chloe Westbrook. She looked perfect, red dress, blonde hair in waves, makeup flawless, but her eyes were ice when they landed on me. Liam felt me tense, his hand tightened on mine. "Keep walking," he murmured. But Chloe was already moving, intercepting us before we reached the elevators. "Liam," her voice was honey-sweet poison, "we need to talk." "No, we don't." He didn't stop walking. "About him." She looked at me like I was something she'd scraped off her shoe. "Really, Liam, this is who you're throwing away a decade of family planning for? Some nobody from the mailroom?" "Acquisitions," I corrected before I could stop myself. "I work in acquisitions." Her laugh was cruel. "Even better, a file clerk." Liam's expression went arctic. "Ethan, wait for me by the elevators." "Liam!" "Now." It wasn't harsh, but it was firm. "I'll be 30 seconds." I reluctantly let go of his hand and walked toward the elevator bank, my heart hammering. Behind me, I heard Liam's voice, low and deadly. "If you ever speak to him like that again, I will personally ensure that every door in this city closes in your face. Do you understand me, Chloe?" "You can't be serious about this. He's nothing. He has nothing. You'll get bored in a week and then I'll still have made the best decision of my life." His voice was clear enough that people nearby could hear. "You tried to drug me. You tried to trap me. And now you're standing in my building insulting the man I chose? You have 10 seconds to leave before I have security escort you out." Silence. 10, 9, 8. She left. I watched her storm toward the exit, her heels clicking on the marble floor, her perfect composure cracking. Liam returned to my side, his expression softening the moment he looked at me. "You okay?" "You just, in front of everyone." "Yes, and I'll do it 100 more times if I have to. You're mine, Ethan. I don't tolerate anyone disrespecting what's mine." The elevator arrived. We stepped inside, alone, and the moment the doors closed, he had me pressed against the wall. "Every time I look at you in this suit, I want to tear it off." "You just bought it for me Saturday." "I'll buy you 10 more. His lips found my neck, and I forgot how to breathe. "God, you smell good. How do you always smell so good?" It's the soap you bought me, the expensive stuff." He pulled back, his eyes dark. "I want everyone in this building to know you're mine."
Pretty sure they already figured that out after the lobby show. Not enough. His thumb traced my bottom lip. I'm going to mark you so thoroughly that no one ever questions who you belong to. Mark me? He kissed me, deep, consuming, possessive. His hand slid into my hair, angling my head exactly where he wanted it. When he finally pulled back, my lips were swollen and my brain had short-circuited. Like that, he murmured. Now everyone who sees you will know. The elevator dinged. 47th floor. Ready? He asked. No. Good. Me neither. He grinned, and it was the first time he'd looked genuinely happy since I met him. Let's go shock some executives. Marcus was waiting by the reception desk, looking like he'd aged 5 years over the weekend. Sir, the conference room is ready. All department heads are assembled. However, I should warn you that your grandfather— Is he here? Liam's voice went flat. In your office. Perfect. Ethan, stay with Marcus for a moment. I need to handle this. Liam. He kissed my forehead, right there in front of Marcus and the receptionist and anyone else who might be watching. 5 minutes, I promise. Then he strode toward his office like a man going to war. Marcus looked at me with something like pity. First day on the executive floor is always rough. Is it usually this dramatic? Not even close. He smiled slightly. Coffee? You look like you need it. I need something stronger than coffee. That can be arranged after the all-staff meeting. I blinked. Wait, what all-staff meeting? Marcus's smile grew. The one Mr. Sterling called for at 9 a.m. 300 employees. Mandatory. Attendance. Pause. You're the guest of honor. Oh, God. Oh, my God. I'm going to sick, I said. Bathrooms are down the hall on the left, but you might want to hold it together for another hour. Marcus checked his watch. Mr. Sterling is very thorough when he makes a point. From Liam's office, I heard raised voices. One was definitely Liam's grandfather, deep, authoritative, angry. Throwing away everything we built for some boy you met in an elevator? I'm not throwing anything away. I'm finally taking something for myself. You're making a fool of the Sterling name. The Sterling name will survive my choice of partner. Now get out of my office. Silence. Then, if you do this, you're on your own. Don't expect the family to support. I've been on my own since I turned Sterling Corp profitable at 28. This changes nothing. A door slammed. Moments later, an older man in an expensive suit stormed past me, his face red with fury. He didn't even glance at me. Probably for the best. Liam appeared in his office doorway, his tie slightly loosened, his jaw tight. When he saw me, his expression softened. Come here, he said. I crossed to him, and he pulled me into his office, closing the door behind us. For a moment, he just held me, his forehead resting on top of my head. Sorry you had to hear that, he murmured. Your grandfather hates me. My grandfather hates anything he can't control. He pulled back, his hands framing my face. But he'll get over it. Or he won't. Either way, you're still mine. There was that word again. Mine. I should have felt trapped, possessed, owned. Instead, I felt safe. What happens now? I asked. He glanced at his watch. Now we go to the conference room. I introduce you to the company, and I make it very, very clear that you're not going anywhere. And everyone's just going to accept that? His smile was sharp. They don't have a choice. The conference room was massive, stadium seating, a stage at the front, screens displaying the Sterling Corp logo, and it was packed. 300 faces turned toward us as we entered. 300 pairs of eyes that immediately dropped to where Liam's hand rested on the small of my back. The whispers started like wildfire. Is that the guy from Acquisitions? Heard he spent the weekend at Sterling's penthouse. Canceled engagement because of him? Liam guided us toward the front, his hand never leaving my back. When we reached the stage, he finally released me, but positioned me slightly behind him, protective. Thank you all for coming on short notice, he began, his CEO voice filling the space with effortless authority. I'm sure you've all seen the news this weekend regarding my personal life. The whispers grew louder.
I'm not here to explain or justify my decisions. However, I am here to introduce someone important." He turned, extending my hand to me. "Ethan Miller. Some of you know him from acquisitions." Oh God, this was happening. I stepped forward, because what else could I do? My hands were shaking. My heart was trying to escape my chest. "Ethan will be transitioning from acquisitions to work directly with me in an executive capacity. He'll have full access to all executive resources and will be working on high-level projects under my direct supervision." Someone in the back called out, "Is this because you two are involved?" The room went dead silent. I felt Liam's hand press more firmly against my back. "Ethan's position is based on merit and my assessment of his capabilities. However, I won't insult anyone's intelligence by pretending our relationship is purely professional." My heart stopped. He was really doing this. "Yes, we're involved," his voice carrying to every corner of the room. "And if anyone has concerns about favoritism or impropriety, you're welcome to bring them to HR, in writing, with specific examples." No one moved. Good. I didn't think so. His smile was sharp. "Sterling Corp has always been about excellence and innovation. That doesn't change. What does change is that I'm no longer hiding who I am or what I want. I expect the same level of professionalism from all of you that I've always demanded. Any questions?" The silence was deafening. Good. Meeting adjourned. Back to work. People started filing out, their voices rising in excited chatter the moment they hit the hallway. I stood frozen on the stage, my brain still trying to process what had just happened. Liam had just come out to his entire company. For me. "Breathe," he murmured near my ear. "You just, in front of everyone?" "Yes." He turned me to face him, his hands on my shoulders, not caring that there were still people in the room watching us. "And now, everyone knows. No secrets, no hiding. You're mine, Ethan. Publicly, officially, completely." "You're insane," I whispered, but I was smiling, maybe crying a little. "You beautiful, insane man." His answering smile was devastating. "You're just figuring that out now?" Someone cleared their throat behind us. "Marcus." "Sir, your 9:30 is waiting. The board wants to discuss recent developments." Liam's expression hardened. "Tell the board I'll meet with them at 11. Right now, I'm busy." "Busy with what, sir?"
Liam looked at me, his eyes dark with promise. "Showing Ethan his new office." My stomach flipped. "That doesn't sound professional," I managed. "I'm the CEO," he said, his hand sliding to the back of my neck. "I define professional." He led me out of the conference room, down the hallway, past Marcus, who looked like he was trying not to smile, and into an office at the end of the hall. Not his office, a smaller one, but still bigger than my entire apartment in the Bronx. Floor-to-ceiling windows, a massive desk, leather furniture, and a door that connected directly to Liam's office. "This is yours," he said. I stared. This is an executive office." "You're my executive assistant." He leaned against the desk, pulling me toward him. "Or my personal advisor, or whatever title makes HR happy. The point is, you're here, with me, where I can see you." "This is too much." "This is the minimum." His hand settled on my hips. "And Ethan, that door?" He nodded toward the connecting door to his office. "It stays unlocked, always. I want to be able to see you whenever I want." "That's not—" He kissed me, cutting off whatever protest I was about to make, slow and deep and possessive, his hand sliding up my back, pulling me closer until there was no space between us. When he finally pulled back, I was dizzy. "Welcome to the executive floor," he murmured against my lips. "Try not to distract me too much." "Me distract you?" His smile was wicked. "You have no idea what you do to me in that suit." Someone knocked on the door. We sprang apart like teenagers caught making out. Marcus poked his head in, looking amused. "Sir, the board is getting impatient." Liam sighed. "Tell them I'll be there in 5 minutes." He turned back to me, straightening my tie that he'd just messed up. "Are you going to be okay here?"
I don't even know what I'm supposed to be doing. Marcus will get you set up. Computer, phone, access codes. And Ethan, if anyone gives you trouble, anyone at all, you come find me immediately. Understood? Yes, sir. His eyes darkened. We're gonna have to talk about you calling me sir in that tone. Later, when we're alone. Then he was gone, leaving me standing in an office that was bigger than my apartment, wearing a suit he'd bought me, working for a billionaire CEO who decided I was worth burning his entire world down for. I should have been terrified. Instead, I pulled out my phone and texted Liam. Thank you for everything. E. His response came immediately. You're mine, Ethan. I take care of what's mine. Now stop distracting me. I'm in a board meeting trying not to think about what I'm going to do to you when this day is over. L. My face went hot. Another text. That blush is adorable, by the way. I can see you through the connecting door window. L. I looked up. Sure enough, through the window in the connecting door, I could see Liam at his desk, his phone in his hand, looking directly at me. He winked. God help me. I was completely, devastatingly in love with this impossible man, and from the look in his eyes, the feeling was entirely mutual. Chapter 5. The rest of Monday passed in a blur of learning my new job, which apparently consisted of whatever Liam needs, according to Marcus, fielding curious stares from every employee who walked past my office, and trying not to have a breakdown every time I remembered that 300 people now knew I was sleeping with the CEO. By 6 p.m., I was exhausted. Liam appeared in my doorway, his jacket off, his tie loosened, looking unfairly good for someone who'd spent the entire day in back-to-back meetings. Ready to go home? He asked. I should probably go back to my apartment. Josh is going to think I died. Text him. Tell him you're staying with me. Liam crossed to my desk, spun my chair around to face him. I'm not ready to let you out of my sight yet. You can't keep me locked in your penthouse forever. Watch me. He leaned down, his hands on the armrests, caging me in. Besides, I ordered dinner. Thai, your favorite. I blinked. How do you know my favorite? You mentioned it on Saturday when we were shopping. You said you used to get it with your mom on special occasions. His smile was soft. I remember everything you tell me, Ethan. My heart did something complicated in my chest. You're impossible, I whispered. And you're mine. He kissed me, slow and sweet, completely different from the consuming passion of the weekend. This was tender, careful, like I was something precious. When he pulled back, I was smiling like an idiot. Come on, he said, offering his hand. Let's get out of here before my grandfather shows up for round 2. We made it to the elevator without incident. The building was mostly empty, just cleaning crews and a few workaholics still at their desks. Liam kept his hand on the small of my back, that now familiar gesture that made me feel claimed and protected in equal measure. The elevator doors opened, and Chloe Westbrook stepped out. She looked different from this morning. Her makeup was slightly smudged, her perfect hair a bit disheveled, but her eyes were razor sharp when they landed on me. Ethan Miller, she said, her voice honey-sweet poison. Just the person I was looking for. Liam's hand tightened on my back. Chloe, I thought security escorted you out this morning. They did, but I came back. She smiled, and it was all teeth. I needed to have a conversation with your, what do we call him? Boyfriend? Boy toy? Latest conquest? You can leave now, Chloe, Liam said coldly, or I'll have you arrested for trespassing. Oh, I'm leaving. But first, she pulled out her phone, held it up so I could see the screen. I think Ethan should see something. It was a photo, grainy, taken from a distance, but unmistakable. My mom, outside her doctor's office. My blood ran cold. Cute woman. Maria Miller, age 57, diabetic, currently 3 months behind on her medication because insurance won't cover the new prescription. She swiped to another photo. And this must be your father, James Miller. Hasn't worked in 2 years due to a back injury, currently at risk of losing the house. What the fuck do you want? I heard myself say. Liam's hand was like iron on my back, holding me in place. "Ethan." "Oh, it's simple," Chloe said, tucking her phone away. "You disappear, quit your job, leave New York, go back to wherever you crawled out of, and in exchange, I make sure your parents' medical bills get paid, their mortgage gets caught up, they keep their house." "And if I don't?" My voice was shaking. Her smile turned vicious. "Then I call in some favors. Your mother's insurance gets accidentally canceled. Your father's disability claim gets lost in processing. That house they've been living in for 30 years, suddenly the property taxes are triple what they should be." She leaned closer. "I can make their lives a living hell, Ethan, and it will all be perfectly legal." "You're threatening his family?" Liam's voice was deadly quiet. "You're actually threatening innocent people because you're angry at me?" "Oh, it's simple," Chloe said, tucking her phone away. "You want him, Liam. Fine. But he comes with baggage, expensive baggage, unless he makes the smart choice and walks away." "Get out," Liam said quietly. "Now, before I do something I won't regret." She smiled. "Think about it, Ethan. I'll give you 48 hours to decide. Your parents' financial security or a few weeks of playing billionaire's boy toy before he gets bored." She pressed the elevator button. "Choose wisely." The doors closed on her satisfied smirk. I stood frozen, my mind racing. My mom's medication, my dad's disability, the house they'd lived in since I was born. All of it could disappear because of me. "Ethan." Liam turned me to face him. "Look at me." I couldn't. I was too busy calculating. If I quit now, went back to the Bronx, found another job, a normal job with a normal boss who wouldn't make me a target. "Ethan," firmer now, "I need you to look at me." I forced my eyes up to his face. He looked furious, but not at me, never at me. "She's bluffing," he said. "You don't know that. I know her family's bankrupt. I know she's desperate, and I know that threatening your family is a criminal offense." His hands framed my face. "I'm going to destroy her for this." "Liam, you can't. My parents, they'll be fine." His voice was absolute certainty. "I'm going to make sure of it, but I need you to trust me. Can you do that?" I thought about my mom, who worked 2 jobs to put food on the table when I was growing up. About my dad, who taught me how to fix cars in our driveway even though his back was killing him. About the house that was the only stable thing in my chaotic childhood. "I can't risk them," I whispered. "I can't." Something flickered in Liam's eyes. Hurt, maybe, or fear. "So you're going to leave? Just like that?" "I don't have a choice." "You always have a choice." His grip tightened. "And I'm asking you to choose me. Choose us. Let me handle this." "How? By throwing money at it? By using lawyers?" "Liam, she said it would all be legal. She has connections. She has nothing." His voice was hard. "I've been investigating her family for months, Ethan. I know every dirty secret, every financial crime, every lie they've told to stay afloat. If she wants to play games, I'll bury her so deep she'll never see daylight." "And my parents pay the price while you're burying her?" I pulled away from him, my chest tight. "I can't take that risk. Ethan, I need to think." I pressed the elevator button with a shaking hand. I just need space to think." The elevator arrived, empty this time. "Don't do this, Ethan," he said quietly. "Don't let her win."
This isn't about winning. This is about my family. I stepped into the elevator, my heart breaking with every word. "I'm sorry, Liam. I'm so sorry." The doors started to close. Liam's hand shot out, stopping them. He stepped into the elevator with me, the doors closing behind him, and suddenly we were back where we started, just the 2 of us in a small space, the city moving around us. "4 days ago," he said, his voice raw, "you kissed me in this elevator and changed my entire life. You made me realize I'd been living for everyone else, my grandfather, the board, the company.
never for myself. Liam! I canceled my engagement. I told my family to fuck off. I came out to 300 employees. He stepped closer, and I could see the desperation in his eyes. I did all of that because for the first time in my life, I wanted something that was just mine. And that something was you. Tears burned my eyes. I know, but my parents... I'll protect them. His hands found my face, his touch gentle despite the intensity in his voice. I'll protect all of you. Your mom, your dad, you. I'll move them somewhere safe. I'll pay off every bill, every debt. I'll hire security if I have to. But Ethan, his voice cracked slightly, I can't protect you if you leave. She'll ruin them. I won't let her. He rested his forehead against mine. I'm asking you to have faith in me, to trust that I can handle this, that we can handle this together. The elevator reached the ground floor, but neither of us moved. What if you can't? I whispered. What if she does it anyway? What if my mom can't get her medication because of me? What if... He kissed me, desperate and pleading, and terrified in a way I'd never heard him from before. Then I'll buy the fucking pharmaceutical company and make sure she gets it for free for the rest of her life, he said against my lips. I'll buy the bank holding their mortgage. I'll buy the entire goddamn neighborhood if I have to. There is nothing I won't do to keep you safe, to keep them safe. Do you understand? Nothing. I was crying now, tears streaming down my face. You're insane. About you? Absolutely. He wiped my tears with his thumbs. So, I'm asking you again, choose me, Ethan. Choose us. Let me fight this battle. The elevator doors tried to close, but bumped against us, then opened again. I looked at him, this impossible, obsessive, brilliant man who turned his entire life upside down for me, who was offering to burn down the world to keep me and my family safe. Okay, I whispered. Okay? I choose you. More tears fell. God help me, I choose you. The relief on his face was devastating. He pulled me into his arms, holding me so tightly I could barely breathe. Thank you, he murmured into my hair. Thank you. What do we do now? He pulled back, and the CEO was back, calculating, dangerous, determined. Now I make some phone calls, and tomorrow, Chloe Westbrook learns what happens when you threaten someone I love. Love? He said love. Liam, I know it's too soon. I know we've only known each other 4 days, but I don't care. His eyes burned into mine. I love you, Ethan Miller, and I'm going to spend every day proving that choosing me was the right decision. I should have been scared. Should have thought he was moving too fast, getting too intense. Instead, I kissed him like he was air and I'd been drowning. I love you too, I breathed against his mouth, even though you're completely insane. His smile was the sun breaking through storm clouds, especially because I'm completely insane. We went back to his penthouse. Liam disappeared into his study with his phone and laptop, making calls to lawyers, investigators, people whose names I didn't recognize, but who apparently owed him favors. I sat on his couch, my own phone in my hands, staring at my parents' contact information. Should I warn them? Tell them what was happening? A text came through from my mom. Sweetheart, saw the news about Mr. Sterling. Everyone's talking about it. Are you doing okay at work? Love you, Mom. She didn't know. Didn't know I was the reason her son's boss had canceled his engagement. Didn't know her medical care was being used as blackmail. I texted back. I'm fine, Mom. Everything is fine. Love you too. E. It felt like a lie. Liam emerged from his study an hour later, looking grimmer but determined. It's done. What's done? I've moved your parents' mortgage to a private account under my control. Even if Chloe tries to manipulate property taxes or insurance, it won't affect them. I've also set up a medical trust for your mother, unlimited coverage, any doctor she needs, any medication. He sat beside me, taking my hands. They're protected, Ethan, legally, financially, completely. I stared at him. You just did all that? In an hour? I told you, there's nothing I won't do.
He squeezed my hands. "And tomorrow, my lawyers are filing a restraining order on Chloe. If she comes within 500 feet of you or your family, she goes to jail. She'll ruin them. I won't let her." His smile was sharp. "Remember how I said her family is bankrupt? I've been sitting on evidence of financial fraud, foigery, tax evasion, falsified loan applications, enough to put her and her parents in prison for years." My stomach dropped. "You're going to have her arrested?"
"I'm going to give her a choice." He stood, pacing toward the windows. "Drop the threats against you and your family, sign an NDA, and disappear from our lives. Or I hand everything over to the FBI and watch her world burn." That's ruthless. That's what happens when someone threatens you. He turned back to me, his expression fierce. "I told you, Ethan, you're mine, and I protect what's mine. Always." I should have been disturbed by how far he was willing to go. Instead, I felt safe for the first time since Chloe had shown me those photos. "Come here," I said softly. He crossed to me immediately, and I pulled him down onto the couch, into my arms. For a moment, we just held each other, his face buried in my neck, my fingers in his hair. "Thank you," I whispered, "for protecting them, for protecting me." "You don't need to thank me." His arms tightened around me. "This is what love is, Ethan. Protecting each other, fighting for each other, burning down anyone who tries to hurt what's ours." That's a pretty intense definition of love. He pulled back to look at me, and his smile was soft, vulnerable. "I'm a pretty intense person," I noticed. I kissed him gently. "But I love you anyway." "Anyway?" He raised an eyebrow. "Or because of it?" "Both." I traced his jawline with my fingers. "You're obsessive and possessive, and you solve problems by throwing money and lawyers at them. You're also kind and protective, and you remember my favorite food. You're a contradiction, Liam Sterling. Is that a problem?" "No." I kissed him again, deeper this time. "It's perfect. You're perfect." His laugh was rough. "I'm really not. You are for me." Something shifted in his expression, softening, opening, letting me see the man beneath the CEO mask, the man who was just as scared of losing me as I was of losing him. "Bed," he said suddenly. "I want you in my bed tonight, not the guest room, mine." "Liam, please." It came out almost desperate. "I need to hold you. I need to know you're still here, that you didn't leave." My heart broke a little. "I'm not going anywhere. Promise me." "I promise." I stood, taking his hand. "Now take me to bed before I change my mind about how insane this all is." His smile was devastating. "There's my brave boy." He led me to his bedroom, massive, minimalist, all dark wood and expensive linens. The bed could probably fit 6 people comfortably, which seemed excessive for one person. "You're thinking the bed is too big," he observed, pulling his tie off. "Little bit. It won't be once I'm done with you." The heat in his voice made my knees weak. Is that a threat or a promise? Both. He crossed me, his fingers finding the buttons of my shirt. "I'm going to take my time with you tonight, Ethan. No drugs, no desperation. Just me showing you exactly how much you mean to me." "That sounds..." My breath hitched as he pushed my shirt off my shoulders. "That sounds perfect." "Good." He kissed my collarbone, my neck, the sensitive spot behind my ear that he'd apparently memorized. "You're beautiful," he murmured against my shoulder. "Do you know that? You're the most beautiful thing I've ever seen." "I'm really not." "Don't." His hand found my jaw, tilting my face toward his. "Don't diminish yourself, not with me." "It's just, I'm nobody special. You're everything." His eyes were fierce. "You're brave and kind, and you make me want to be better. You make me want to be worthy of you." "Liam, let me finish." His thumb traced my bottom lip. "I've spent my entire life building things, companies, wealth, power, and none of it, not one single second of it, felt as real as this, as you." Tears pricked my eyes. "You're going to make me cry." "Then cry." He kissed my eyelids, my cheeks, the corner of my mouth. "I've got you. I'll always have you."
And he did. He held me through the night, his arms wrapped around me like he was afraid I'd disappear. Even in sleep, he didn't let go. I woke up once around 3 a.m. and found him watching me, his expression soft in the darkness. "Can't sleep," I whispered. "Don't want to." His fingers traced patterns on my back. "I keep thinking about how close I came to losing you today." "You didn't lose me." "But I could have." His voice was rough. "If you'd gotten in that elevator and left, Ethan, I don't think I could have survived it." "That's dramatic." "That's honest. I know it's too much too fast. I know normal people don't fall in love in 4 days, but I'm not normal, and what we have isn't normal, and I don't care. I just need you to stay." I pressed a kiss to his chest, right over his heart. "I'm staying. I promised, remember? Promise again. I promise I'm staying. I promise I'm yours. I promise." I looked up at him. "I promise that whatever happens next, we face it together." His smile was beautiful in the moonlight. "Together." "Together," I agreed. He kissed me then, slow and sweet and full of promises neither of us knew if we could keep.
But in that moment, wrapped in each other's arms, it felt like enough. It felt like everything.
End of part 1. The journey continues in part 2.